Hey there, everyone. Don't know if anybody's tuning in at all, but this is the first episode, official episode of Studio Visits with Bill. How about that? Bummer of bummers is, though, that our first guest, Mr. Carrot Kuklis, skipped out on us because his AT&T internet dropped, and he can't join us tonight. So that's a bit of a bummer. So I guess Studio Visits with Bill is going to be with Bill tonight. We'll see. Bill and a little J&B scotch. Whiskey, not scotch. I don't know what it is, but it's good. Anyway, I had asked earlier for people to ask me questions, and a few of you did. And a few had those questions to direct to Carrick as well. And being that he's not here, I think I might hold off on some of them until such time as he can join us. And I'm hoping that that will be sometime this week. And another thing that I want to do is, by popular suggestion, move this up to 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time, whatever it is right now. I've got a little bird competition here. He wants to come to the feeder that's over my head, and I'm not. I'm sitting here. So, anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, we're going to switch the time to 7 o'clock on Tuesday evening, and I'll probably throw a couple of them out here and there that are just out of the blue. Just stay tuned. You know, just like this, it'll happen, and nobody's doing much right now but watching Instagram. So or watching other things. So I'm sure I'll catch you if you want to catch it. And if that's the case, what I'm going to also do is I'll hopefully press the save to IGTV after this is over with, and that way anybody that misses it can come back. Wow, that guy's really singing out there. It's a beautiful night. I don't know if you can see the sun setting behind me, but it's a really nice night here. We've only had a few up here north of the 45th parallel so far that are worthy of spring and worthy of sitting out on the porch with shirt sleeves on. And so that's what I'm doing tonight. We're not inside the studio. We're outside the studio. And again, Carrick won't be with us, and that's his loss, but we'll have him back here soon. And another special thing of special things is I was chatting with Jill Enfield today via text, and she wants to join next week. So next week, Tuesday o'clock. This is scotch. Next week, on Tuesday at 7 o'clock, we'll be joined by the one and only Jill Enfield. And that should be a lot of fun. And what I'm going to do, that should be a lot of fun. And what I'm going to do is sometime during this week in my story here on Instagram, I'm going to put up another questionnaire. So if you have questions to ask of Jill, do it then. Somebody had asked me about the best way to coat salt paper. And I like to use a brush and a rod, but we could. That's one that I'll save for Jill as well, and maybe for Carrick. I'm not the most proficient at salt printing yet, so maybe I'm not the best one to answer that question. Let's see. What else? Colin Corneau asked a great question about, coming up with a project and seeing it through to fruition and through to the end. And, he's a fine one to ask that question because he does beautiful work. I don't know if any of you follow him. I'll try to put a link someplace. He's a Winnipeg Diary at Winnipeg Diary on Instagram, and the stuff that he does is just incredible. He does some beautiful black and white street work and just life, beautiful stuff. So hopefully you'll check him out sometime in the future. Let me think of some other things right now that I might want to get to. I'm just winging it, as you can probably already tell. Let's see. Hey, hi people. I see that there's some people checking in here. Randall Goss. Wow, hi Randy. Let's see. Cool. Well, there's a few people watching. This is fun. And again, also, when I have that questionnaire up, ask some things that I might be able to answer of you. But back to Colin's work. Colin, that's the hard thing to say these days. There's so many people making photographs these days. It's incredible. And, how do you stand out from that? I really don't know. My way of doing things was always to, just conceive of the project first and to work it through and work it like any problem and, work it through to the point where I felt like I could show some of it in some sort of so it would show some sort of a concise project and some kind of a concise vision that I could then start to show around. And what I would like to do at my time was, unlike you who are, and others that are probably going more for publication, I wasn't going for that, so much. I was going more for like gallery work and for potential book publication, that kind of thing, back in the days when that was actually possible. And then what I would do is put together a grouping of that work when I finally had something good and concise together, and I would start showing it to people, and I'd start showing it to different galleries. Anybody would look at it, basically. And that's all I can suggest for you to do. Being that you're looking to be published, I would find out who, I'm probably, preaching to the choir here, but this is for other people that might be listening as well, is, contact the different publications that do publish work like your work or like the work that you may be doing at that time, and find out who their photo editor is, and it's easy these days. Just find out what their email address is, drop them an email, maybe send them an image that way. Nothing too big that's ties up their email or anything like that. Just a JPEG or something that you can send them and see if they might have an interest. Just to put out feelers like you would do anywhere. But again, in this day and age, it's so hard. I don't mean to be discouraging, because I'm not trying to be, but, I try to be more realistic when I'm talking to people. And, it's a hard row to hoe right now, especially, look at this. We're on Instagram, and there's gazillions of things published each day. And there's so many really great things that I just come across and stumble across that I don't even know exist. And, it's just, it floods your mind sometimes, and it can be almost, debilitating to see these kind of things and just realize that, an interesting or an original thought is pretty rare these days, but they do exist. And whether they do exist or not, it's, it's something that you have to get out of yourself, and it's something that you have to work on. So, I would suggest also staying away from these platforms for a little while, and try to get a sense of yourself and try to get a sense of who you are as a photographer, because so many people these days don't really know who it is that they're even copying anymore. When I was coming up through photography and going through school and things, I had photo history classes, and you kind of knew who was out there, and you knew who had been kind of your predecessors, and you knew who you were emulating, and you kind of took that into some sort of an artistic or a context. And these days that context is gone, because you can basically come up with a minor weight filter on your phone, although it's not called that, or anybody. It's such a hard thing these days, because we are so far removed from the history of what it is that we do. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because there are so many things that are coming up from people who really don't know. Honestly, they don't know the fundamentals, and they don't know things, but the fact is that their cameras and their phones allow them to get beyond that, and really, whereas at one point you would think that's a bad thing, or you might be, you might look down your nose at something like that because you've gone through all kinds of education to get where you are, but at the same time, those people are allowed to express themselves, and what they are expressing is pretty interesting at times. And, I really like to see the work of younger photographers, and not only younger photographers, but older photographers like me who are out there, and that's one good thing about Instagram and Facebook and all these other things, and not so much Flickr, if anybody still does Flickr anymore, but, it gets your work out there, and it gets you to be able to see what else is going on. And, we do think more of as a collective body. We're able to keep in contact now instantaneously, whereas in the past, you would have a group of people that you liked or that you admired or you were being mentored by, and you would write letters back and forth, and you would have this sort of group thought about things. And now it's just like on steroids. It's there all the time. And I mean, that's a good and a bad thing, I suppose. And I'm just rambling here. Again, it's the whiskey probably speaking a little bit, but it's just nice to sit here out on the porch with the birds chirping and the sun going down and feeling relatively COVID-free. Did I just see something run behind me? Or am I just seeing things? Maybe not. There's chipmunks that I've been feeding here, and they're getting pretty bold to the point where I might have to catch some of them and take them off in the woods someplace and let them go, because they're starting to own the place a little bit. I'm surprised that one of them hasn't crawled up on me right now while I'm doing this. But anyway, I see that we're hovering around 13 or so people, so I'm going to wave at everyone. I can't really see who it is. I see Don Maddox. Hi, Don. Pinholes and Plastics. I'm afraid that a lot of people's handles online, I'm not really sure who the person is that's attached to it just off the top of my head. So if I don't say your first name and identify you, I'm sorry at this point. I'll get a little better at it. And I don't have my glasses on either, so I really can't see. Another thing that I'd like you to do in the future, if you could, on the questions, is maybe suggest some people that I could get. I mean, I've already approached some people, and everybody seems to be interested. I mean, nobody's doing anything right now, and I think that's a lot of fun. And just like a lot of things that I do, like photo stock, I'm not able to do photo stock this year. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it's a group gathering that I do up here every year. It's supposed to be happening in about a week. It's canceled, obviously, because of everything else and the virus. And it's, it's the smart thing to do, but I miss it terribly, and I miss what I usually do there. I bring different people together, and I bring different presenters in to show their work and to show the things that they do, and I'm really missing that. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of that through this platform if I can. It would be fun to do some workshops as well. We were supposed to have Jill Enfield here, of course, in a week doing a workshop, but that didn't work out. And we will have her again in the future, but for now, I've been talking with her and other people about trying to do some online things, and we're not really sure how to do that yet. So we'll see. But anyway, in the meantime, I have approached different people, and it's going to be fun. I have a good list of people that we can get to here, and I may even, if there's more of people that listen to it or catch on to it, I may do it with, I may do it a couple times a week. It might be fun to do it that way. So, excuse me. What I'm going to try to do is bring to you various, can you see dust on me? Am I dirty? What I'm going to try to do is just to bring various people in the field of what we do. Some people of note, some people not of note, maybe people that you haven't heard of, but, they'll be fun people to talk to, and it may be something good for you to hear, maybe just fun to sit around, and do something other than watch the Netflix show that you've watched for 20 times already. And I suggest everybody that does join us with a little bit of your favorite libation. It doesn't have to be alcoholic, or everything's legal these days. Whatever you want to join in with. I can't see you; you can see me. But again, I think that next week or when we get Carrick in here, it's going to be a lot more fun because there'll be somebody that I can actually talk to and bounce things off. And again, ask some things that you'd like to hear from people. And like I say, with any luck, we'll pull it together again next week, and Jill will be here. And anything you want to ask Jill, Jill's got a great, well, not a new book out, but it's a new edition of a book that she's known for. And I should have that right now. I'm sorry. That's a bad thing for me to do, but I'll have that later. But anyway, it's basically an alt process handbook, dip your toe in the water kind of a thing in all different processes. And there's a lot of different artists in there, and I am very fortunate to be one of them. So look it up on Amazon. You'll see, just look up Jill Enfield and you'll see the book if you haven't already got it. Let's see, what else can I think of right now? That's about it for right now. I don't want to come up with everything right now in the first shot, but I think this is working well. Can everybody see me? Just kind of give me a yes or a wave or something if you can hear me. I don't see anything, but that doesn't matter. I still see that there's 16 people watching, which is fun. So there you go. If anybody's a barber that wants to fly out and give me a haircut, that would be great. I'm kind of having a decent day today. I was like, it's getting a little terrible. And, but that's okay. I'm not willing to go out and endanger my life and the life of others in order to get my hair cut. Well, that's the other thing, I mean, you might want to share with me, what you've been doing while you're going through this pandemic that we're going through. I don't know about you, but here I am. I'm sitting on the porch of the studio, and I've got, materials, and I've got palladium, and I've got all this stuff to work on, and yet I still haven't been able to be as productive as you would think I would be at this time. Don't get me wrong, I've been printing, and I've been doing some nice prints. I've been printing for my old mentor and, the great Alan McQueenie. I'll flash this pretty quick because I don't think I'm supposed to show nudes on Instagram, but they're very tasteful. From 1962 that he shot. But anyway, I've been doing platinum of that, and I've been putting together some things with a neighbor of mine who's a very good woodworker, and we've been putting together these print frames that are going to be available really soon for you that are stuck at home working in your own dark rooms and dim rooms. They're contact printing frames that I've been using now for the last couple of months, and they work really well. We were just about to launch them right when this all hit, and I figured it was pretty bad taste to bring out, a new product while we're all locking down and keeping ourselves safe. So anyway, that'll be coming out pretty soon. You'll see some mention on that on my website. Oh, if you want to also be part of this, if you're somebody that does what we do, feel free to contact me through either through here on Instagram, or better yet through my website, which is www.billschwab.com, and in there you'll find a contact form, so you can just write me and tell me who you are and what you do, and I'll see about scheduling you and getting you in here. And what I might do is some nights I may do like 5 minutes with people, and so I'll just pop you in, pop you out. Like right now I can see a bunch of you online, and I could invite each one of you if I wanted to come on. So if you're up for that, I may do that here in the future too. That might be fun. Let's see. So check out the website, maybe send me something. In the website, I've added in the media section of the menu, you can now go to my YouTube channel, which is something that I've been working on throughout this virus lockdown. Is for those of you that don't know, I have my Northlight Photographic Workshops, which is the porch of the building, the studio that I'm sitting on right now. And I've been doing these YouTube videos, mostly centering on alternative processes, and right now the platinum and palladium process. But I've been going through different parts of the process, the making of a print, and then also mixing of the chemistry and treating the papers, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, you can find that link through my website at www.billschwab.com, and it's under media. You'll see my YouTube channel link. You can go there and subscribe there. That would be really great. What I'm trying to do is get that to the point where I can monetize it, and it's not like there's going to be any great money made through it, but I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers first before I can do that, and also 4,000 watch hours. And lo and behold, I'm already at 800 almost subscribers, which is great, and I thank you all that are following me there. But I'm over 2,000 watch hours, which is just fascinating to me that people have sat around for 2,000 hours and watched the different videos that I've put out there. But anyway, I'm going to keep adding things to there, and if I can find a way to download these things that I'm doing right now, I'll end up putting them on there as well. But anyway, I think that's it for now, unless somebody wants to join me. Anybody want to join me? Anyway, we'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Eastern Standard Time, and if not before. But next Tuesday, 7, we're going to have Jill Enfield on here, and it'll be some fun. So I really thank you for watching. This has been a really good time. I hope that, anyway, whatever. Take care, stay safe, wear your masks. Don't go to restaurants until you feel like it. We're opening up here this weekend, which just seems crazy to me, but I won't be going. So it goes. Take care, guys. Adios.